Hi guys, it's Amanda here, your cutie of Carnage.
And I'm JESS KORESH, and I like this shirt.
Here on Channel Sundown.
Sundown!
Today we are doing another review. It is Halloween. It's that time we're going to be doing a lot of reviews on horror films. And this one is the actual new one that we saw called Haunt.
Haunt!
Haunt.
Haunt! Haunt!
Are you done?
That's how a duck would say it.
2019 Haunt is written and directed by Scott, Beck, and Bryan. Those names might sound familiar because they are the writers, some of the writers from A Quiet Place. You guys remember that movie? I do. I like that movie.
Yes, everyone remembers A Quiet Place. It was a huge hit.
Haunt stars Katie Stevens, which you guys might know Katie Stevens. I was watching the film and I was like, that girl looks a little familiar. I, of course, don't watch this show anymore. I haven't since I was a kid. But she is famous from American Idol. Apparently she was on the show, not one of the seasons I watched, but she was apparently one of the contestants on American Idol. So not only is she an actress, but she can sing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And William Britton, Lauren Alyssa McLean, Andrew Caldwell, Zazie Raja, Schuler Helford. I hope I'm saying these people's names right because I don't really know these actors. They're kind of unknown actors that I don't really know of. So I hope I'm saying their names right. If not, I apologize.
You're hurting their feelings.
Apparently. Haunt is about this girl named Harper who has a roommate, and they decide for Halloween they're going to go to a party. Basically, that's what kids do on Halloween. They go to a party. When they go to this party, they, of course, meet their friends, what have you, and they meet two men. And, of course, Harper is going through this thing where she has a boyfriend who is really abusive, and her friends are trying to get her over this guy. So what does she do to get over a guy is go to a Halloween party and meet two guys, and of course she likes one of the guys, and you know, that's what happens. To get over a guy, you have to get under another one. Ha! That's basically what...
That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, that's basically what the story tells you. Harper meets up with her friends, what have you, and the whole night she's getting texts from her ex-abusive boyfriend. Apparently something occurred, and her friends kind of like, you have to get over him, so let's all just hang out and have a good time. They decide to go to a haunted house attraction. So they go to this attraction, and things are kind of weird when they show up, and they kind of get there. They're kind of like, oh, this seems real, this seems unreal, and anyways, chaos ensues. Without spoiling, of course we're not spoiling anything, but they get to this attraction and things aren't quite right. Things kind of get weird.
Things ain't right.
Things ain't right. It gets weird.
It's going to get a whole lot weirder. That's all I'm going to do this review. I'm just saying, shouting random quotes.
Everybody has their thing. Within the chaos, people disappear, people get hurt, people get killed, weird people show up, people who seem weird aren't weird, people that, you know, seem normal aren't normal. It's just a bunch of chaos, man, I'm just saying. It's just weird chaos. It's not a normal haunted house at all. Going into this film, the characters are pretty interesting. And the acting, is going to be our first point. The acting, my opinion, was actually pretty great. Like, I thought the acting was pretty well. I didn't know that the girl that started it was on American Idol. I thought she was just an actress. I thought I knew her from another horror film, but apparently, I guess I just seen her on things of American Idol. I don't know. But I was actually pretty interested in the acting. I thought it was a pretty good job. I thought it was pretty good. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I was a huge fan of hers from American Idol. And
I did roll my eyes that time, so.
you know me, I love American Idol, and I really did enjoy, what was her name?
Katie Stevens?
Yes, that's it. Katie Stevens, my favorite American Idol contestant. And winner for all I know. I was very surprised by the acting. I thought the acting was really good. It's the typical, you know, the teenagers in horror movies, and you don't really know what to expect, because, you know, back in the 80s they were all so cheesy and everything, and you had the whole 90s wave and 2000s, but they were all pretty good actors as far as I was concerned. They were very convincing, and no one stood out to me as being, you know, subpar, so that's always good.
What I liked about the acting was actually, it seemed kind of believable. It wasn't too much, it wasn't too little, it was realistic. Because even before things got really kind of chaotic, they acted normal. Because usually, you know, when you watch horror films, it's like an actress, she goes, oh, the room is so dark, I'm so scared, guys. This one, it's like, oh, the room's dark, oh, okay, well, put your hand in here. Okay, alright, put my hand in there. It's not until things actually visibly get chaotic, that's when the actors kind of acted to the chaos, versus being like, oh my gosh, it's haunted. I mean, it's not haunted, but you know what I mean. Like, oh, it's a dark room, so everyone gets scared. No, it was realistic, it was believable, and when things got crazy, they reacted. They didn't react right away. So, I thought the acting was really good and believable, so that was that.
And I like how they didn't have like a bunch of stereotypes like those movies usually have. Like, all right, well, I'm the football player, and I'm the nerd, and I'm the goth chick, and I'm the, you know, like somehow we all ended up hanging out together tonight. You know what I mean? It didn't have that. It just seemed like a bunch of regular. They were all kind of just a bunch of regular people hanging out.
And then there's the storyline.
Once again, I was pleasantly surprised by the story. You know, I'm a big fan of original stories. Nothing that's a remake or a reboot or a reshoot or a recreation or anything that has re in the front of it. This was a completely original story, even though, once again, it does have elements of classic horror movies kind of mixed in, but there's never been anything like this. I was afraid it was going to be another clown, like, oh god, it's another clown movie. But it's way more than that, and there's all kinds of different characters, and there's not just one, you know, bad guy. There's a lot of different bad guys. I thought it was really creative. I thought it was a really creative and new story. Again, it's another fun addition to Halloween movies because it was a haunted house, and there aren't a whole lot of movies, you know, and it kind of plays with your, like you said, because in the beginning it's a haunted house, so you don't know what's real, what's not real. You don't know who the good guys are. You don't know who the bad guys are. It kept you on your toes. It kept you guessing. It was very intriguing. I really enjoyed the story. I thought it was really good.
And the thing about the story mainly is, like I said, it's called Haunt, but like you're going into a ran haunted house. It's not like you're going in, there's ghosts and stuff. So it's very realistic. So the story was I liked how the story went and took elements of a haunted house, and they made it more of not like the place itself, but the situations around it. So the situations had you on edge versus the fact of like you're like it's a haunted house with ghosts, goblins. No, it's situations you're in. It was very, how can I say, Saw-esque, but without kind of the blam of like just, you know, oh, everyone's gonna die. It was very situational. Like the situations you're put in like just situations with the character of stress and stuff. And they're, like I said, we said with the acting, they're realistic characters. So these situations, you know, they kind of came back in like a realistic kind of point. And kind of like, you know, when people messed up, it was realistic to where like when you watch a film, a killer's chasing you and you run upstairs, you're like, no, don't run upstairs. In this film, you're like, oh, don't do that. But you're like, I would have done that. So kind of that way. So the story was really interesting, and I was really kind of intrigued in the fact of, like you said, you know, without spoiling it, things were very kind of up and down, and you kind of didn't know what you were into, and it didn't explain too much either. So you're kind of like put in a situation with the characters, and you weren't really thinking, oh, there's a killer after you. Don't go in there. You don't know what's after you. You don't know what you're scared of. You don't know what you're fearing. You're just fearing the situation of, I don't know what's going on. It's kind of like the unknowing factor kind of creeping inside of you, just being like, I don't know what's going to go on. I don't know what I'm scared of. All I know is something's going to happen.
Like you said, there's a lot of tension in it, and not only the tension that you feel. First of all, there would be that kind of tension if you were in a real, set up haunted house, because you don't know exactly what's going on, and this is scary. How scared should I be? Like, oh God, that was scary. Wait, is that real? Like that kind of thing. So you've got the whole tension of the haunted house, which escalates as it goes on. But then you've also got the tension of the one character who's got the boyfriend, who she's like, oh, is he stalking me? He's texting me? Is he here? Is he behind this? Is he like, So you've kind of got these two elements, and they both feel very realistic. And I just think they did a really good job of creating that a good tension.
Yes. Throughout
the whole movie.
And that's another point about it too, is that like you don't really, like, in the situations, you don't know who you're supposed to fear, and you don't know, because even the people that you aren't really on their side, without spoiling it, you're like, is that person going to be there? Like, do I want to see this person, or do I want to see this person? Because you don't know who you're supposed to fear. You don't know who you're supposed to go for. I mean, you do, of course, have, the people in the film that you're kind of rooting for, but you really, in the aspect of the person itself, of the character that you're going through it with, you're like, I don't know if you should trust this person. I don't know if you should go with this person and stuff. So it was hit or miss. But anyways, getting off that point, yeah. Interesting story. So going back to my pros of the film, is I liked the element of not knowing really what's going on and stuff like that. And I really liked in the film, without, like we said, we're not going to spoil anything, but I liked how you had this one character who you kind of were with, who kind of you trailed the story with, but you also sat there and you felt for other characters, but you didn't really have a full idea or are kind of surrounding with a character. So that was going to be my pros of the questioning. I know just enough, and that is branching out a curiosity of the film. You had your cliche, horror characters. You had, the funny friend, and you had, the hot guy, and then you had, the good girl, and then you had the friend who, wanted to be with every guy and stuff like that, and you had the one friend who, anyways, not getting too much into it because we're not going into spoilers. But they had each kind of cliche bubble, but they played it correctly. They played it in a way they're like, you've seen this 10 million times. You know what's going to happen. We're not going to tell you what's going to happen with this character, but you know what you're getting into. So I like just the plant, and it just, they kind of took a lot of liberties with the characters, but they also had a lot of respect with their audience.
No, I mean, basically, you nailed all my same pros for the movie. It was a really smart movie, and I appreciated it for that. It didn't dumb anything down for you. You had to kind of keep you thinking and keep you on your toes. Like, what's happening? What's happening next? Is this happening? It was a really smart, fun movie.
And that's another thing too. It was a smart movie, but I liked it too. One of my pros is it wasn't trying to be too much of it. It knew what it was. This is what it is laying it out for you. It doesn't try too hard to be something more than it stood to where it was, and you appreciated it more. It was my pro. So yeah, I agree with you too. So
you've already said your pros.
I know. It just made me think of another one. So sorry, I'm going to stop with my pros.
Hoes.
So we'll go ahead and go into cons.
I'm going to say one more thing about something you said.
What?
Because I'm thinking about it. Because there weren't stereotypical characters. Mm-hmm. And then you were saying that there were characters that did fit into these stereotypes. But I could name a very specific one. But even though they might have been slightly based on these stereotypes, they kind of broke out of that stereotype. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like there's the guy who might be just like the goofy whatever. You think, okay, that's his character, but then he ends up being like a hero. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like they kept you, even in that aspect, even though some of them did have elements of stereotypical horror movie characters. They kept you guessing. Not just the bad guys, but also you didn't really know where the characters were going as far as like the good guys in the movie either.
Yeah, yeah, you're totally correct. It's like, it was realistic because, I mean, just because you're the funny comedian does not mean, you know, you see somebody die and you're like, huh,
Yeah.
no, you're a person, you're going to react to that. So even though you're funny, you're not always going to be like, ha, like, so yeah.
Word. What are your comments?
I want to hear yours first because I've been talking a lot.
You know what? I've been thinking about it this entire time, and I can't think of a con for this movie.
Oh yeah.
Which should tell you how I feel about it. I mean, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised by it, and so I think that was a good thing because I really did think it was like, oh god, it's gonna be another clown movie. Because you know, after it comes out, like there's all these clown movies coming everywhere, like straight to rental and all this. And you know, now there's so many movies coming out like video on demand and coming straight to. Like, you don't really have time you don't know much about these movies before they come out, so I really didn't know a whole lot about this movie. I just knew that I wanted to see it, and so I was pleasantly surprised. So I don't think I had any cons, but I'm sure you did, so go ahead and tell us about them.
Some of my cons are basically some that's kind of like, I don't have many, but some of my cons are kind of like, I felt like there were some parts of the film that were kind of like drug a little too much and took a little too long to kind of like get to a point. And if I get into a certain point, then I'll be spoiling. But there's a few scenes I was kind of like, okay, and I was like, all right, we get that. Like, let's pace it a little bit more. So although like it wasn't boring and it wasn't slow, but there were some scenes I was kind of like, okay, I get it. This is going on. Let's kind of, you know, the tension, we got the tension, we're there, so let's go to the next point. But that was just a few minor points. And the ending was something I kind of was kind of like, huh? I didn't really get into as much, but I mean, it was interesting, but I was kind of like, how does that work for what was going on? But hey, you know, that's just a personal opinion of mine. But anyways, yeah, so there wasn't many cons. I just felt like some things were kind of like dragged a little. Like, not drag, it wasn't like sitting there. I wasn't like sitting there like, oh, come on. I was just kind of like, but then again, that says in a lot of standpoints of pros is the film was going so, you know, it had points that were kind of like, okay, here. I was getting spoiled in that aspect to when the parts that were kind of like drag a little bit, I was like, keep it going, you know, so that was kind of like more of those being spoiled as an audience, I guess. I don't know. But that's my only cons I can really think of. There's a few scenes that were kind of dragged, and then the ending, I was kind of like, huh? But I wouldn't even say the ending is a con. So I'm just picking things that I didn't think were great. So I'm going to really go back a little bit and say they're not cons in the same point they weren't perfect. So I don't think I have many cons, but if I had to name some, those would be my cons.
Well, at no point did the movie drag on like she just did. So let's hear our verdicts. Well, I'll go first. I loved it, obviously. I love this movie. You know, it was a very pleasant surprise. Don't be surprised if you see this on my end of the year list, but I don't know. There's still a whole lot of movies that haven't even come out yet.
Oh, yeah.
But like I said, it was pleasant surprise. I enjoyed it. Thought it was a good story, very original. Kept me on the edge of my seat, kept me guessing, and I had a really fun time watching this movie. And I might even buy it on Blu-ray. I don't know.
Oh, we'll see.
I don't know. I might buy it on Blu-ray.
Maybe.
I might.
Wait.
Might get it on Blu-ray.
Like I said, you know, we liked the film. You know, I thought it was really good. I was pleasantly surprised because I honestly, this being said, guys, I am really big in 80s horror. You guys know this. So there's a lot of current films that I've seen that I've been kind of like, but this one I actually liked. I don't know if it'll be on my countdown as best, but we'll see come December what we have on our best and worst countdown.
I feel like the end of 2019 has been really good for horror movies. Like, there's a lot of original stuff coming out and a lot of exciting stuff coming out. And there's still, like I said, there's stuff coming out there's stuff that hasn't even come out yet that we would still want to see. That's still coming out October, November, December. So I feel like it's going to be like really I think it's a really exciting time for horror movies. We're seeing kind of a renaissance of originality, which is much needed. We're not seeing that mean, remakes and rehashes. I keep saying that, but like we're actually seeing some, like that feeling you had when like It Follows came out or Get Out came out. Like I'm starting to get that kind of feeling in 2019 for several films. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time to be a horror fan.
Alright guys, that being said, that concludes our review of 2019's Haunt.
What?
You just keep on with that. You just won't let it go. Oh, that's not you. Do I have to call somebody? Did you guys like Haunt? What do you guys think? Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Do you think we have neglect to mention a few things? Let us know. Comments below. And you guys do not forget, we seek approval. So do not forget, ladies and gentlemen, to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Yes, guys.
I think it's gonna be
it's like I don't know. And y'all read. Y'all can read. Y'all can do
Read
it.
a book.
He does. So.
Read lots of books. I got book reviews coming up.
Yeah, guys. Stay tuned. And until next time, guys, stay tuned because it is Halloween. We have been behind, so y'all stay tuned. We're probably gonna have a video like we've filmed a lot of reviews, so we're probably gonna have like a video like every day for like a while. So, anyways, guys, till next time. Bye. Don't do that.
Self-love.
Oh God. Anyways, that being said, bye.
She'll see my shirt.
She'll see your shirt. You're grabbing your chest so people can see your shirt. Anyways, yeah, that's a personal problem.
This is what? I'm working on my posture.
Apparently.
Apparently.